maybe you're wrong. And if you can't sit here and listen to this video for however long it is, because I got nothing written down, I might talk for 12 minutes, I might talk for 3 minutes, I don't know. You should probably just click off this video because you're not going to get the point of the message anyway. Maybe you're wrong in what you're doing. Maybe you're not doing it correctly. Whatever you're trying to achieve, you're driving in the opposite direction. You ain't even driving. Or maybe you're driving in a direction that's semi towards what you're going to, but it's never ever going to get you there, right? If the point's here and we're driving this way, we pass the point up every single time. And this is something that I think you have to constantly reevaluate, especially when you're not getting the results that you want. And you just have to ask yourself, is what I'm doing either enough? Is it the right thing? Am I doing too much? Am I doing too little? All these questions of like, is what I'm doing correct? I'll tell you a story kind of when I went through this little phase. I've told this story actually before, but I was doing a private lesson. It was like my first private lesson I've ever done. It was with Ben Askren. We're wrestling, and it was an hour long or whatever. We talked for 10 minutes at the start, and then he just said, we're going to spar. I'm going to feel how you wrestle and see where we can improve and stuff like that. And, we're sparring and I'm not scoring any points and I'm really, really hard-headed and competitive. And so I started wrestling harder and harder and harder and harder. And he just started beating me up more and more and more and more and more, which was super frustrating. So I wrestled harder and harder and harder and harder. And then we got to the point where I'm completely exhausted because obviously he's a way better wrestler than me. So he just beat me up and I didn't score at all. And so I'm pissed off because I didn't score. I'm exhausted because I just wrestled as hard as I could. And he basically was like, hey, you're being an idiot. That's not what we were supposed to do. We were supposed to spar so I could feel how you wrestle. And instead, you were a jackass. And I was like, oh, yeah, kind of. And then he asked me my goals after that. And I told him I wanted to be an Olympic champion, national champion. It's pretty simple. Junior in high school, this is what I wanted. I told him that. And he basically was like, well, do you think you're going in the right direction? I don't remember exactly how this conversation went, but it went something like this. And I was like, well, I should show up and been wrestling every single practice and stuff. And he just basically put it in front of my face as like, do you think showing up and just putting in time is what's going to get you to your destination? And kind of made me think about it. And then he basically told me the answer of no, it's not. You need to focus and you need to actually drill and you need to start asking questions and you need to involve yourself 100% into this endeavor that you want because it's really, really hard. Like being a national champ, being an Olympic champion, that ain't no easy feat. Not just every single person does that. So you're going to have to give yourself, all of yourself to this thing if you want to get there. And man, that just like blew my mind. I was like, God, maybe he's right. Maybe I do need to put all of myself into this. What am I not giving right now that I can give that I wasn't giving before? What can I do during practice that I wasn't doing before? Where am I taking the wrong turns where I should be going straight or left or right? And it just made me question every single little tiny thing that I'm doing to try to get to my goal that I'm going at, And so it's like, you need to redo that all the time. You need to constantly ask yourself, is this what I should be doing? Every little tiny detail in your life, is this what I should be doing? Now, obviously this can drive you nuts, right? And it's like, have a work-life balance. Honestly, screw work-life balance or sport-life balance or whatever you got. A saying in college that my coach would always give me, you got social life, wrestling life, and school life. You can only have 2 out of the 3, and you can only be good at 2 out of the 3. So if you're good at wrestling and social, your school's going to lack. If you're good at school and social, your wrestling's going to lack. If you're good at wrestling and social, your school's going to lack. And obviously he wanted us to be good at wrestling at school. And so it was like, he was telling us like, hey, your social life is going to lack if you want to get to where you're going. And that really resonated with me because it's like, yeah, I didn't have a social life in college. I wrestled and I did school and played video games. That's about it. And so it was like, I was just doing what I needed to do to get towards my goals. And now I didn't hit them, but I think I was driving in the right direction. I think I was going in the right direction. That's good for me. I don't look back on that stuff and regret like, hey, I did this or hey, I did that. And you got to ask yourself, like, in 5 years when this is all over, your high school career is over, your college career is over, like, are you gonna look back on this time and be like, yeah, I gave everything I needed to what was most important to me? Or are you gonna look back and be like, damn, I wish I would have gave a little more? Because everyone knows people that say that. I know people, I have friends that say that, I have adults that tell me that, and stuff like that. And so it just makes me think in my life, like, man, when I'm 70, 80 years old and I'm about to die, do I want to look back on my life and be like, I could have done more with that life that I just lived there? Or do I want to be like, man, I had a good freaking life. I lived it to my fullest ability. And you're not always going to drive in the right direction, right? You're going to get stuff wrong, but you got to pick a direction to go to know whether it's right or wrong. So if you're sitting there over analyzing, like, should I do this or should I do that? Should I eat eggs this morning or should I eat oatmeal this morning? Dude, it doesn't matter. Just pick a better choice than what you're doing right now, and you can always refine it later. Alex Hormozi talks about this, about his business. He did this new thing with his social media where he was going to talk about broader subjects to get more people watching his stuff. And it did. It got more people watching his stuff. His views went up, his subscribers went up. I'm sure his shares went up, everything like that. But it was his goal was that would bring more people that were going to buy his product, right? And it actually did the opposite. It pushed those people away that were buying his product because his product was businesses, but he was talking to the normal person. And so it was like, he just now refined his social media to be super niche on business so he can sell business stuff. And it's like, but he had to drive in that wrong direction for the 6 to 8 months that he did just to know that that was the wrong direction to drive in, and now you can correct. But if you just sit there and you don't drive any directions, or you just drive the wrong direction, you never question it, right? Or never have someone put it in front of your face to question it, then you're just going to keep driving in the wrong direction, and you're going to look back after 10 years and be like, what the hell was I doing? And so it's like, if you don't have anybody in your life to tell you you're driving in the wrong direction, you might not be, but you might be. So you might want to think about it. And I could be that person that'll tell you that. I don't care. I don't really care what anyone thinks about me. And so it's like, maybe you're driving in the wrong direction. Maybe you're wrong. Maybe you're not wrong. And you just need to keep doing what you're doing and be patient. But you have to ask yourself these things. We can't just keep driving in a direction and hope that we end up getting to the destination by pure luck. Like, there's roadmaps. Look at what someone else did in front of you and then do that. Right? It doesn't mean you have to copy them. Like, make it your own. Be your own person, right? Be authentic. But there's a roadmap to wherever you're going, more than likely. Not very many people are going to be this super creative person that creates something brand new. And if you are, great. Good luck. But more than likely, a lot of you guys have goals that someone's already done. And so it's like, look at their roadmap, follow it, and then make adjustments as you go where needed. But yeah. So that's my rant for today. You might be going in the wrong direction. You might not be. You might need to be patient, but you should always be asking yourself, am I doing the right thing?